Call this planning meeting to order. If I could have councillors Bodnar and Aquilina move that the public meeting agenda dated April 7th, 2026 be confirmed as circulated. Questions about the agenda? All in favor? That's carried. Are there any disclosures of interest this evening? No? Okay. So we have one item that tonight, statutory public meeting report for proposed site-specific official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment 547 King Street, files D09-01-26 and D14-01-26, 2026-56. So this is a proposal for site-specific official plan amendment and zoning bylaw amendment for 547 King Street. At this time, I can turn this over to Kelly Martell and for a report on this, and then we'll hear from the proponent. Kelly.
Thank you. Good afternoon or good evening, Mayor and members of council.
Also, just a second.
Yep.
Share this into.
Looks like there's just a little delay here. No, that'll be, no. Okay. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Tonight we're here to provide information for a statutory public meeting under the Planning Act for an official plan amendment and a zoning bylaw amendment for 547 King Street. Okay. Oh. You're still muted. Okay. Take 3. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. Tonight we're here to provide information on a Planning Act application for an official plan amendment and a zoning bylaw amendment for 547 King Street. The applicant is the Biglieri Group. The owner is Drew Toth of Elevate Living, and they're both here tonight and will be providing presentations after mine. I will give a quick overview of the development site and some of the key changes being requested through these amendments, which are also included in the staff report that are part of the agenda package. So the site here is shown in red outline. It's 547 King Street. About 0.08 hectares or 784 square meters in size, with frontage on King Street of about 19.53 meters, and the existing dwelling is a listed non-designated property on the city's heritage register. Like I said, the applications before us are for requests to amend the official plan and the zoning bylaw to facilitate intensification of the site for a 30-unit apartment building. So the applicant did have a pre-consultation meeting over a year ago on February 13th, 2025. We received an application formally on February 17th, 2026, deemed that complete February 23rd, 2026, added information to the website for public viewing on February 25th, circulated a notice to agencies on that same day, and then did our circulation of a mail out to residents within the buffer zone on March 13th. The applicant posted the sign of the public meeting on March 16th, and now we are at the statutory public meeting, April 7th. You'll see on the screen here a photo of the proposed development, the conceptual site plan submitted with the application. At this time, it is for a 3-story apartment with 30 residential dwelling units that are bachelor and studio. There's one balcony. The proposed density is 383 units per hectare. They're proposing to provide 13 car parking spaces and 24 bicycle parking spaces. And the access is primarily to be provided by adjacent lands that are owned by the city and not owned by the applicant. So in terms of the official plan, what you're seeing on the left-hand side of the column is, or kind of what the official plan designation is, what the permissions are, and what the requirements are. The official plan, and then the requested amendments. So the lands are designated urban residential and high-density residential. They are not requesting a change to the designation. The permitted density within that designation is 100 units per hectare, and they're requesting 383 units per hectare. There are some additional requirements for commercial or ground-oriented residential uses on the main floor in the official plan, and the request is that those not be applied. So the amendment is to exempt from that requirement. In terms of the zoning bylaw, the site presently is zoned second density residential R2. The R2 zone permits detached dwellings, duplexes, semis, and buildings that would be accessory to those. So an amendment is being brought forward for a higher density form in alignment with the designation for the fourth density residential with some special provisions. So this zone permits all forms of ground-related dwellings, apartment buildings, apartment building public, boarding or lodging house, and uses accessory to. The apartment would be within the permitted use. Within the provisions of the R4 zone, there are a number of special provisions requested, including reduced minimum lot area per unit, minimum front yard, interior side yard, rear yard, increasing the maximum lot coverage, reducing the landscaped area, reducing parking. There is a minimum floor area per unit, which the request is that not apply. Reduce requirements for the landscape buffer, as well as some modifications to encroachments and loading spaces. And in terms of next steps, so no decisions being made tonight. We're here to answer questions. The applicant and their agent are here as well. Following the public meeting, we are going to return the comments package to the applicant and continue to process the application in accordance with the Planning Act and come forward with a recommendation at a future meeting of council. If you do want to receive notice of this application and any process, and you're here tonight for the meeting, there is a sign-in sheet at the back, and we would ask that you sign in to ensure that you're notified as we move along the process, or you can contact myself or the city clerk to be added to that list. And with that, I will open the floor to the applicant, and then we can do questions.
Perfect, thank you. Mr. Toth, welcome.
Okay, is this still on?
Yep, it's still on.
Great. Thank you, Kelly. Good evening, Mayor, Council, staff, and general public. My name is Drew Toth from Elevate Living, and I'm pleased to be before you tonight with another project in Port Colborne. I'm gonna just review a bit about our company, and then Merve is gonna talk some details about the site from a planning perspective, and then I'm gonna share a bit just about the vision of this site and what we're trying to bring to Port Colborne, what we're trying to accomplish specifically on this site, and then we'll open it up for any questions, okay? Okay, let me grab this here. Can I just do next slide? Yeah. Perfect, next slide. Okay, so a very important piece for Niagara. This was a survey that was done by the Niagara Realtors Association, and it expresses the sentiment of the general public, which tells us that it is the majority, if you see here, 84% of people that live in Niagara are highly concerned and fearful about housing affordability for the next generation. Next slide. So So Elevate Living, our specific mission, I think many of you guys are familiar, but I want to share again for those of you that don't know us. We are local. I personally live in Thorold with my family, and the majority of our projects are Niagara-based because this is our home, and this is where we care about making a difference in our community. So our mission is to meet the needs of the community through housing, and we do that through land development, constructions, and investment. If you'll go to the next slide. Specifically, our vision is to provide a range of housing options and choices to be available for all people in Niagara, that housing is environmentally sustainable, it's universally suitable to its user. So one of the things that we do is we focus on accessibility as well, not just for folks that have access in a wheelchair, but we're doing audible accessibility and also site accessibility in our units. Quality housing is attainable for Canadians, that municipalities have strong regular revenue to enhance their communities without raising property taxes. Because this is a massive issue for affordability with aging infrastructure that we have. One of the most effective things to do is to create more revenue. Socially conscious investors can create revenue for their retirement, kids' education, and other financial goals while fueling this good work. We have a real estate investment trust fund where people invest to help better Niagara through the work that we do. Next slide. Okay, so famous Canadian Gord Downie, we all know him. He had this line that I love: no one cares about something that you didn't do. And the reason why I say that is because it's great for me to tell you about the lofty vision that we have, but if we're not actually building and we're not putting people in housing, it doesn't matter and no one cares. Next slide. I want to show you some of the previous projects that we have done to deliver this goal and vision. This is 268 Oakdale in St. Catharines, and it's a very similar site to the one at 547 King Street. We asked for the same parking reduction. We had a very large side yard setback. We increased the density. That site was longer and skinnier, where 547 King Street is wider. But it was a very similar site. And some of the things that we did at Oakdale were replicating. Some of my staff are calling 547 King Street Oakdale 2.0. So this was a net zero ready certified building, triple glazed windows from Germany, hardy board on the outside. It had an annual tax revenue of $967 when we bought it. After approvals, annual taxes $46,695, 0 units to 28 units, and there was 10% affordable units. There was 15% accessible, and when I say accessible, they weren't minimum building code accessible. They actually facilitated a few folks in scooter chairs that were, we worked with agencies to put them in and retrofit for their specific needs. We have a Kite mobility car share, bike share, and scooter share, all electric on the property. So there was a parking reduction, but as it is very expensive for food and housing, it's also expensive for transportation. So we have an electric vehicle car share on that site as well. Next slide. There's 2 projects here. I'm just going to talk about one. 699 Niagara Street in Welland. Before, it was one boarded up house. After, 129 units. Annual taxes when we bought it, $9,000 and change. Annual taxes after, $262.86. This one had 17% affordable units, 30% attainable units, and it wasn't net zero, but we did a 26.5% decrease in energy consumption and GHG emission, and the standard was national building code that we built above. Let's go to the next slide. We're currently redeveloping the Seaway Mall. We actually just opened sales 3 weeks ago. This site was 0 units to 1,300 units. It's walkable on direct transit route. This is really key. It has a forecasted 400 million increased tax assessment, and this is where it gets interesting. Building an infill using existing infrastructure. We didn't actually have to upgrade anything, which was great. You don't always get that privilege. The equivalent of 250 acres of greenfield development and tax revenue was done in 15 acres. Okay? Very important for long-term sustainability. The estimated development charge revenue for Welland and Niagara region, 23.4 million to help with aging infrastructure. And as I mentioned, we tied in. We recently were just awarded the Canadian Front Runner program demonstrating United Nations SDG 11 in partnership with the Urban Economy Forum and the NPCA. So we are super excited about this. We have a partnership with NPCA and Vineland Growers because we're replanting the Carolinian species on an underutilized parking lot, and they're going to be monitoring the health of the street trees as a demonstration to utilize again. So the Urban Economy Forum is a subcommittee of the United Nations. And so they will be forming a partnership and an office with us to utilize this site, and we believe that people will visit it as a destination in Niagara. Next slide. Rental housing stats. This is fresh from the Niagara region. I worked with them as a private development inputter on their new CIP program that's rolling out for attainable housing. So based on the core housing need, it's estimated there is a shortage of roughly 20,000 affordable rental units right now in Niagara. Very little rental housing supply has been built over the past 2 decades, with most occurring over the last 7 years. 2018, only 1,200 rental units have begun construction compared to 17,400 ownership units. Activity slowed considerably in 24 and 25, as is no surprise. We're in a bit of a stressed point right now in the market. Despite new supply, the total rental universe has not changed since 2006 due to the loss of rental housing elsewhere. I want you to look to see about how many units were constructed since 2020 to 2024. In the last year, there's been about 500 rental units actually constructed in Niagara, and I'm proud to say that Elevate Living was responsible for just over half of those units. Next slide. This is a little pictograph to show you the completed projects that we've done in the Niagara region. Those are some pictures at the bottom. If you scroll up, it's very important to us that we build quality products. You're going to see brick, hardy board, stucco, brick. This was a more modern design with brick and metal siding. Next slide. I'm now going to turn things over to Merve to talk a little bit more about the details.
Good evening. Thank you, Drew, for your insightful presentation, and Kelly for your breakdown of the planning policy and the proposal. Good evening. My name is Merve Kolchuk. I'm Drew's planning consultant for the lands located at 547 King Street in City of Port Colborne. Next slide, please. As Kelly has mentioned, the subject site is located just north of Kalili Street West, and it's currently abutted by the St. Lawrence Seaway Commission to the south, to the east, as well as city-owned lands to the south, and there are existing residential units to the north, south, as well as to the east of the lands. Next slide, please. In the Niagara official plan, the site is designated, is within the urban boundary and is designated a built-up area. And the proposal supports the regional growth goals by delivering a compact, transit-supportive, low-rise apartment building with a mix of rental and affordable housing that not only provides intensification, but it's also a gentle, modest intensification within the area for a site that's underutilized and leverages, like Drew had mentioned, existing infrastructure and promotes sustainable and complete communities. Next slide, please. Within the city of Port Colborne official plan, as Kelly mentioned, it's designated urban residential within Schedule A with high density on the site. The proposal generally conforms to the urban residential designation by providing a well-designed, transit-supportive, low-rise apartment that's appropriate, provides appropriate transitions. We are seeking an amendment, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Next slide, please. The site is currently zoned R2, second density residential. As you can see on the screen, the current zoning does not permit the proposed development, which is an apartment building. Next slide, please. So as Kelly mentioned, we are seeking an official plan amendment to allow for increased density on the site from 100 units per hectare to approximately 383 units per hectare. And we are also seeking exception to commercial uses and residential-oriented uses at grade. And we are seeking amendment to the zoning bylaw to rezone from R2 to R4 zone with site-specific exceptions that Kelly mentioned previously. This is mostly due to the size of the site, as well as like we are using the lands to the south of us that are city-owned, and then we are also abutted by the Seaway lands that provides an extension, like a further rear yard. If you go to the side just before this, if you scroll up, please, you can see that the zoning, R2 zoning, is just aligned with the official plan, as the zoning to the north and the south are R4 as well. Next slide, please. So what we're proposing is 3 to 4 story apartment building with 30-unit apartment building. It's, as you can see here, the entrance to the site is from King Street, and we are going to be seeking to continue to use the entrance for the site from the city-owned lands, and we're proposing a total of 13 parking spaces that are located just south of the building, and we have one accessible parking space that's located. As you can see here, we have parking spaces located just in front of the building entrance. It's a total of 4 bicycle racks, and then as well as we have at the back, Drew will talk a little bit about the design as well, but we do have a private amenity balcony at the back of the building along the west side of the building. And parking is also located on the first floor of the building as well. So we have indoor as well as outdoor parking spaces. And then the existing sidewalk network along King Street offers convenient walkable connections to the downtown Port Colborne and Main Street commercial area to the north. And then also, like Drew mentioned, that the proposal is committing to affordable, like a minimum of 10% affordable purpose-built rentals to meet the CMHC definition of affordable housing. And as well as the pedestrian access is well integrated with concrete walkways connecting to the parking area, both on the front and the rear yard entrances, and then also connecting to King Street as well. I'll go to the next slide, please. I'll pass this along to Drew as he'll talk about the vision for the project.
Thank you. So we currently have a proposal into NRCan Resources. And part of that proposal is a partnership with a modular home builder, Prime Fab. And so the vision is to have net zero ready modular housing. One of the key things that you'll notice in the picture, the home consists of 2 parts currently, one red brick with some pillars in the front and then back some siding. And so we are planning to respect the original red brick facade, and we plan for the building to be fully in red brick, and we're going to repurpose those 2 posts from the original house and put them on the front area that you see here. And as part of net zero ready certification, it'll be triple glaze windows similar to the Oakdale project. One of the other key components will be similar accessibility features. So we'll have accessible units on the ground floor as well. We're going to do the car share as well because, as you know, we are asking for a large parking exemption. And one of the ways that the parking exemption works is because we have the car share. The other key thing is that with the affordable units, we find that a lot of the folks that are renting the more affordable units do not own a vehicle. And that's a very important part to the viability of this project. Sometimes what we've done with other municipalities, and I'd be willing to do it again, is a municipal service agreement that goes on title to bind the affordability component of the project. So you know, because people sometimes ask, Drew, well, it's great if you build this and you do this, but what happens after? So that is something that I'll just bring up myself and let you know that we're willing to commit to that as well. So part of the NRCan grant and some other grants that we're working on would actually deepen the affordability of the project. So we're hoping to take it from 10 up to potentially 50% of the project. We're currently at the zoning and amendment to the official plan stage. So as we go further down the planning approvals, as we head to the site plan, these are some things that we can deal with at site plan approval as well, because we'll be further down the grant stage. And we're currently talking with some potential nonprofit partners as well. One thing I will mention is my neighbor to the north, I actually built that 8-plex in partnership with Gateway. You guys approved that project, and you approved that project with 0 parking several years ago. And so we built that project, and I bought this piece of land actually originally because it was going to be part of that project with Gateway, but at the time we couldn't get the provincial funding. So I've sat on this duplex, waiting, and now's the time to activate this and bring it to a further place of maturation. I'm going to stop there. I think you've got a bit of the idea and the vision, and I just want to open it up to any questions that you may have for me, or if there's more technical planning questions, then Merve is going to come up with me and answer those for you.
Great. Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it. Questions from council? Councillor Bruno, then Bagan.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Certainly, you have somewhat of a track record in Port Colborne. I'm pleased that you built what you said you were going to build. I do have quite a bit of concern with the parking. So, for starters, and this may well have to be directed to our planning staff.
Sure.
I'm under the understanding that, and I'm not quite sure if we own part of this laneway off of King, and then there's also an issue of our potential purchase of some lands in the rear through Canada Lands or the Seaway that might be pending. So maybe for me to set the table, if I could get the answer to that from one of you.
Eric?
Yeah, through the mayor to the councillor. That's correct. The city does currently own the laneway that is used as the driveway right now. It's shared between the property at 547 King Street, which is the applicant speaking about tonight, and then the neighboring property to the south. They're using it as a shared entrance that goes into both properties. There is discussions that are underway with respect to potential acquisition of land from the Seaway. I don't know where that is in the process. That's with Mr. Long, but understanding that may be a future option for the city. The laneway is an access to that land. So that's sort of the situation with that right now.
Okay, so where I'm going with all this is seldom does it line up that there may be a potential for additional land there for you to achieve your goal of density and potentially achieve a more accommodating amount of parking as it pertains to our current parking. So would you be open if that land were to become available? And I don't know what your build schedule is, but I had talked to Mr. Cotton at the city, who's chasing down that land and some others. He was more optimistic than I'd ever heard or that we've had success with in the past of obtaining that land. That said, it still is an unknown. But if we were to acquire that land, and provided that we didn't have another use for all of it, it could increase the viability of more parking, A. B, I can't speak for council in the city, but I don't think, for us, it would be about leveraging to help make this property happen and appease the neighborhood and parking, as opposed to being a major profit source from a sale. So if you had the potential access to some of our lands, would you consider that, given that this is a public meeting, you can go back and debate it? Would you consider doing that as a means of perhaps coming closer to satisfying the municipality's parking criteria, which is relatively new and reduced?
Mr. Toth?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Bruno. I'm managing two things always in order to deliver budgets, which has never been more of a challenge with cost to deliver affordable housing. And so, am I open to your proposal? Yes. I fear time and cost, the delay of the project, and the increased cost, which inevitably go in, and I lose more affordability of the project. So if there's a fast resolution of being able to offer land to add more parking, 100% I'm open to it. But my experience tells me that dealing with the federal government on an acquisition and then coming back to the municipality, redesigning my property and figuring that all out, I feel that we'd be multiple years in the future.
Well, maybe that's for a sidebar afterwards in discussion with planning and that. The other thing I am concerned about is your entrance face fronting on King Street. So,
do you want to bring that up? Sorry.
a lot of us in this term of council have had a lot of issues with parking. So when I look around Port Colborne and see real live actual examples, so down the street from you, there's a place called Imperial Courts by Union and King. And not too far away from that, there's a row townhouse development at George and Erie. And there's another townhouse development at Erie and Kalali Street. All three of those properties have on-site parking. But they also have their entrances, street entrances along the front of King Street. So for example, the best test is the 2 a.m. test. So who's parked there all night that lives in the building, but humans being humans want to take the shortest distance from 2 points? They've either got groceries, they're running late, they're running early, they become creatures of habit, and they park on the street. And so those three properties that I mentioned all have overnight parking or excess parking on the street. You look at apartment buildings like Princess Apartments, Rosedale, Neff, and Elm and Maine. They all have their pedestrian entrance interior to the site, and you don't see that level of parking on the street. Now, one of the thoughts there is that if you, instead of putting your entrance on King Street, I mean, it wouldn't necessarily reduce this, but if you put it in the middle of the apartment building, in a parking stall there, people coming into the building, if it's not designated parking where, you know, you're number one, you're number two, they would, to be closer to the door that you go in on, you'd have to want to park in the parking lot as opposed to the street. I look at King Street as an arterial road, and so that means it not only gets lots of traffic, but it's the street you most notice when somebody parks overnight, that the sweeper's gone around, the plow's gone around, and hence you have potentially that situation with your development. Across the street, you have Minto Street, which has a couple of great side yards, the house on the corner, the Drago Slat building on the other corner that has lots of side yard. You're going to rent to the general public, and let's be honest, the customer doesn't always tell you the truth. He has a car or he doesn't have a car, or guy moves in, says he doesn't have a car.
Question, Counselor?
Well, I'd have to set the stage for this
But
because,
we need you to get to a question. The report will come on the floor, then you can
yeah,
give your opinions then, but now we.
I got it.
Because we have staff and the proponent here, can we have questions? Thanks.
I got it. The question will be less than that dissertation, I promise. So what I'm really looking at is that, are you open to moving that entrance to the middle of your parking lane?
Mr. Todd.
Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Bruno. I am, but no, it'll lose a parking spot. So there is a trade.
Yep.
If I put my entrance there, code requires 36 by 36 minimum landing, I will lose a parking spot. So it would be, I'm willing to do it. I'd rather have the parking spot, but if you prefer and think that the circulation of having the entrance there and losing a parking spot is better, I'm open to that conversation.
Yeah, I would, and it goes in tandem with what I asked earlier, but that's still a conversation to be had. That's all I have for right now. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks, Counselor. Counselor Baggett.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll be a lot shorter. No offense. Thanks for your presentation. I know we had a phone conversation earlier. Affordable rent, that's your definition? Is that the region's definition, or is that the province's definition? Like, what's your definition of affordable rent?
Mr. Todd.
Thank you so much for your question. Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Bagu. That's a great thing. They make it really confusing for us with all those definitions. My definition is the federal definition, which in Port Colborne is $1,047.50 per month. It's based on 30% of the annual average wage in the Niagara region based on 2019 Statistics Canada. No, they have not updated to the latest data in Statistics Canada. It is based on 2019.
To you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. You're well prepared for that question, I guess. My next question is, are you prepared for this affordable housing to give Port Colborne residents first choice rather than people from outside Port Colborne? Like, basically what I'm saying is sometimes the Canadian Mortgage Corporation will just grab a group from wherever in Ontario. So we open up 33 apartments here, and all of a sudden only 2 are available to Port Colborne residents that require apartments. It's harder for us. Like, I think the one on Chestnut Street, first rentals were for Port Colborne people. After that, if you moved out, well, it was open. So I don't know if you're willing to make sure Port Colborne residents in need of apartments, affordable apartments, and other, your regular rent, will get first choice, sort of, first crack at the can, I guess you're going to call it.
Mr. Todd.
Thank you, Councillor. Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Bagu. I've never been asked that, and I think it's a great idea. My goal, as I stated earlier, is meeting the needs of the community through housing, and I'd be happy to do that.
Through Ms. Mayor, thank you very much, because I don't want to say we take care of our own, but we have to start taking care of Park Harbor residents that are looking for affordable housing. Anyways, my next question, I guess, to staff. This laneway bothers me. I know the city doesn't plow it. I've never seen a plow down there. So liability, do we have some sort of agreement with the two property owners on this laneway, or is this some official agreement, or is this something somebody did 50 years ago or 75 years ago?
Eric?
Through the mayor to the council, currently there's no agreement, and currently the neighbor to the south has a garage that is half built into the laneway. So there are some historical issues that need tidying up on this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wasn't going to say anything about that one. I'm good, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Further questions from council? Counselor Danch?
Yeah, thanks for that opportunity, and thank through you, Mr. Mayor. I just got to echo the same concerns with the parking. Like, you're going less than half of what's there. Your other building there, it's a nice looking building. I know what you're housing in there. We're all people of the community, so we see what's going on. You just worry about, say, down the road, if something changes with that property and, it gets sold off for some reason or something like that, there's nowhere near the potential to house the people that would maybe going into that. And I'm just, trying to look forward, but that's my only issue.
Mr. Toth?
Thank you, Counselor. Through your mayor to Counselor Danch. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Yeah. Thank you so much. Municipal service agreement, bound on title. There's your answer. We will sign, you will register on property. We have legal agreement examples, so it doesn't cost you for your legal to review. Anyone who owns the property, municipal service agreement is on title. It carries with the property. That way, if I sell it tomorrow, the next guy has no choice but to take it on.
Thank you. It's good information.
Great, thank you,
Thank you.
Counselor. Further questions? Okay, great. Thanks, Drew.
Thank you so much.
At this time, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to delegate on this? Yep. No, come on up, no, come on forward. You're going to come up here, and then we'll get you to state your name and address, and then you can make your statement.
You take my Toronto Pearson jacket off.
That's all right. Welcome.
Welcome, thanks. John Ventresca, I own the property to the south, and I learned something new. I thought Drew and I owned that laneway. I didn't realize the city owned it. Anyway, that's why I'm here, to ensure that that laneway continues, because that's how my tenants get in and out of the property to the south. So currently the property to the south is a duplex. I purchased it in November of 2020, and it's currently operating as a duplex fine. So that's all I had to say. And I want to make sure that that laneway is there and the garage stays, or if the city's going to move it or somebody's going to move it, to ensure that I'm advised.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Staff takes that.
Thanks, Council.
Thank you. Anybody further? Okay. Any statements, staff, anywhere? Anything to add? Eric?
Through the mayor, just to the laneway, we did, at the time the application came in, have a title search done on the laneway and did confirm that the city does own it. So that is accurate information as of last month.
Good. So we could, with this development, if it goes forward, then we can deal with that with the two owners at that time. Correct. Thank you. Okay. So at this time, the Planning and Development Department Report 2026-56 be received for information. The council directs staff to consider council agency and community feedback received as part of the statutory public meeting prior to bringing forward a subsequent staff report respecting the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendment. If I could have Councilors Danch and Bruno move that. Questions or comments on this? Anything further? All those in favor? That's carried. So thank everybody for coming tonight. That the public meeting for 547 King Street is officially closed. If you have any other comments, we ask you to forward them to the city clerk. That's one word, city clerk at portcolborne.ca. And we have one bylaw this evening. If I could have Councilors Bagu and Elliott move the bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne at its public meeting on April the 7th, 2026, be enacted and passed as presented. Questions? All in favor? That's carried. We are now adjourned. Thank you very much.